Kind of like last game. We saw in the last fight with OD Sanity's Eclipse. So Rasta going to be the third pick, and then an immediate coddle coming out for NoPango. Talk about confidence there with said pick. But yeah, Shadow Shaman into the coddle, and now they still need their core to go with that slaughter as you're getting at BSJ. But that's an interesting development to the draft here.
Yeah, the Shadow Shaman's a bit odd. I mean, I kind of get it. If you look at NoPango, their wave clear is pretty much, until they picked the coddle, it was like non-existent, right? And that was like the response is like, we can actually kill creeps now. So that's kind of good. It's good objective taking, and insta-disable for the Morphling on top of the Rubick is always going to be good. You have multiple blink buyers. Like, there's a lot on this team of Alliance right now that can threaten the Morphling. Probably even more than I think in the previous game, where Boxy basically had to go, you know, Bloodthorn Nullifier in order to make sure that they could actually take out the naive morph. So there's answers. Here's another one. Phantom Lancer, also phenomenal this game. Pretty much a good matchup against all of their heroes, I would say. It's looking pretty solid here for Alliance, in my opinion.
Yeah, not a core we get to see a lot right now, but it does seem like that Doppelganger is going to come into big use, and in general, an early Diffusal against a hero like Morphling, no doubt. Very powerful. So, yeah, BSJ, you like the PL?
Yeah, I was thinking that even though I'd want a hero like PA, that they have a lot of disable on the side of Alliance, but they don't have a lot of what I call like independence, where they are able to have a hero that can play alone and enable the rest of the heroes to run around stunning people. Like, if you have all these stuns, but all your lanes are always shoved in, it doesn't matter really, because you're not going to be able to get the fights you want. And so I see this Prophet, I see this Coddle. I figure Alliance needed to address the split push, and I like the PL for that reason. As Draskyl already mentioned, it out of all the split pushing heroes, it has good matchups. It can dodge all the Tusk's abilities. It can reliably close the gap on the Coddle and the Nature's Prophet, and it also doesn't match up too bad against the Morphling.
DK ban. One more ban to go from Alliance's side before they have the first of the final picks. Of course, that mid hero you'd expect, or maybe. I mean, again, it's like, is there anything? I mean, they don't know what the final pick is going to be, so I suppose committing to a Rubick mid might not necessarily be the greatest idea here.
Well, Rubick is kind of ambiguous in his laning phase because he can go against most heroes. Like,
Okay.
I don't think there's any one hero that I look at and say, okay, this hero just beats Rubick mid real hard. Okay, it could be a mid Rubick actually.
Yeah.
Or even perhaps a mid Shadow Shaman, depends on how they want to do it.
You don't think
I don't know
the
about the Shadow Shaman
Demon?
because that guy definitely has worse matchups, but could be a Rubick mid.
The mid Shadow Demon, man. No.
You think so?
No, I'm
I was
sure.
gonna say, if there's a reason for it, I'd love to hear it.
I mean, the hero's always been a powerful laner, but never really been able to capitalize on. Oh, it is mid Shadow Demon. Like I said, of course.
You should have been more confident.
Analysis even better in the morning than it is the rest of the day. But I mean, Shadow Demon's always been a powerful laner. He generally, from my experience, he's like the win lane, lose game if you put him mid. So I'm curious to see if something about the new changes to like the Soul Catcher makes him more viable in the mid lane. Clearly they have an idea. Like, you don't just pick this saying. You guys feel like trying a Shadow Demon pick out in this official match?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to
seeing that. Against a lot of edgy heroes that don't have any like escapes, it like crushes them, right? Because you can just combo them with your spells and then they just kill themselves. But Morphling can just wave away. So I'm not really sure. Like, I'm not sure what the end goal is here.
We're gonna find out for sure.
His Demonic Purge, I suppose, is just a powerful tool to take advantage of as well. But yeah, I think the Soul Catcher is a big part of that. That new Soul Catcher, how it works, that just instantly 40% of your life gone. And talk about needing to burst down a Morphling, that sounds pretty good. It sounds like a pretty good ability to take advantage of.
Yeah.
So
it's really strong for making sure that you can kill the heroes quickly, which is important. Like BSJ was saying, it's Morph, but they already have that, right? They already have like the blink. They have 3 stuns that also buy blinks on their team. So I don't think that like necessarily getting the burst in per se was the issue. And unlike last game, there's no save. Like, there's no mid dazzle or anything like that. So when they jump your Morphling, you're gonna have to like immediately react. And if you don't, that guy's just dead.
take a look at the odds on your screen right there. Obviously favoring Alliance a bit more. Again, I believe this is the overall series odds right now. Have your gap looking good for them, thus up 1-0. But again, a series wouldn't be surprised if we go the distance, and we are looking at that final pick of the Shadow Demon. Is by the way, again, you go to es.bet. You can place your bet if you like. Set odds right there. But it's one of those, it's either genius or it's WTF, right? We see this so often where that final pick especially comes out of just what were they thinking, where it's kind of a hindsight thing to do sometimes, but at the end of the game, it either did really well or bad, and you kind of judge from there. So I think that's what we're going to really be looking at when it comes to this game. But BSJ, before you leave us once again, any final thoughts, specifically with that final pick and how this could play out?
Yeah, I'm just going to highlight that Alliance have a ton of stuns, but NoPangolier have a ton of wave clear. So I feel like it's in NoPangolier's hands to snowball it, and if Alliance can manage to stop that snowball, then NoPangolier is just going to kind of end up feeding, because if the lanes aren't all shoved in and Alliance is allowed to go for the pickoffs they want, I feel like everyone on NoPango just dies. So it's kind of like timing. I'm going to go with NoPango for this one, though. I like their draft, and I'm not 100% confident on the Shadow Demon.
Game 3, that's what you're liking, and hey, wouldn't mind that, of course, in a series like this. But yeah, Underlord was overlooked maybe a little bit, but we're just so caught up with the Shadow Demon. But the Underlord final response from NoPango happened pretty quickly too, so it seems like that they were confident with said pick. And Underlord brings his own utility to the table, a great aura carrier as far as items go, and obviously the mobility with that Dark Rift can be fun. So what are your thoughts on that Underlord pick though, Draskyl?
Well, kind of similar to what BSJ was saying, it adds a lot more wave clear. So their 4th and 5th pick were 2 heroes that just destroy creep waves. Underlord Coddle are probably the 2 best creep killers just by casting 1 spell of any heroes in Dota 2. So in that sense, I think it's really cool. The Pit of Malice also has cool interaction with PL. You can't doppelganger out of it because it's a root, and if you do doppelganger incorrectly and you don't get all the way out, you can get rooted twice. So it's something that I think is still pretty good against him. And for those heroes that just like to jump in, like Sardar and stuff, it's kind of the same. You can blink into the pick, get rooted. It's kind of frustrating. And for the reasons that you mentioned as well, like being able to buy aura items and stuff, it's pretty solid.
Infinite scaling, how's that going for him too now? Good old
he's also a Lotus Spire, which I think is incredible this game against Alliance's team. Probably one of the best Lotus games I've ever competitively seen in my life.
Okay, that's saying a lot. There is plenty you can purge, no doubt. Or reflect for that matter in this game. So how about this? Koik, it's a Shadow Demon Rubick lane, the classic Shadow Demon Rubick up at the top lane, but of course Shadow Demon being the focus of the farm. Saniel playing their Rubick, so that means mid it's going to be PL. So they choose to match up PL in what's going to be against Nature's Prophet. God, there's just a lot of funky things going on in this game.
Yeah, this is fine for PL though. He doesn't really care too much about the treants in the lane. I mean, the Nature's Prophet might end up getting a little bit more CS, but like we spoke about earlier, the PL can just kind of do his own thing, and maybe he goes like casual mask or just buys a couple of tangos or whatever in jungles and stuff if he absolutely needs to. But if you look at the way that NoPango want to play, like they have this Tusk that wants to move around. Like he's the guy who wants to make stuff happen. By putting the PL mid, you're also making it so that you can doppelganger dodge every single snowball, and there is like 0 kill potential in that mid lane. So yeah, he's pretty safe to be there.
Take a look at the bottom lane. Boxy on that slaughter, of course, is pause coming out from Alliance. Need to restart here. But, yeah, Boxy again on Slaughter. He's going to be prioritizing that farm. It's similar to last game where it was this 3 versus 2. In that case, he's playing the Nature's Prophet, so don't know if it's going to be as strong as far as his farm. But obviously this goes back to, again, same as the first game, really more about protecting the Morphling and make sure he has a good start right here. So I'm seeing some announcements coming out. I just wanted to confirm on whether or not, okay, yeah, looking at the Twitter. So, again, OG is the team that's playing next against Vega Squadron here for the WePlay Winter Madness, and it's quite a treat because not only are they the defending TI champions, Draskyl, but they did just officially announce their new 5th going into it. So it's not even going to be a stand-in. It's they're actually know who their 5th is, and ILTW was just announced as a new 5th player.
Okay, so I Live to Win, yeah. He used to play for Espada, right?
I believe so. Yeah, he's been around for a little bit. I was kind of confirming right here on Wikipedia real quickly. Yeah, Espada was his most recent team. Exactly. He's been on teams like Effect, Team Spirit, M19. So more of the CIS region player, but a very solid mid player, no doubt.
Yeah, that's really cool news. I mean, I hope they have more success with him than they did for PyCat. They said there was some chemistry issues, which happens. You know, it's a team environment type of game, so you have to make sure that everyone's on the same page, they get along, so forth. So I'm curious, you know. I want to see him play.
You know, I said a solid mid player. That's what he has history doing. But on a spot, he has been playing that one position role, which of course would make sense, obviously, in OG's case. And so you got that guy named Thompson that's pretty good at that mid role himself. So Yeah, I assume he's going to be playing that position 1 for the team, of course. And he's kind of a mix. Like, he's been around a little bit, but, you know, still has been trying to break through as far as that top tier team and really be recognized. So I like that decision, if anything, for that. You know, Pycat, as great of an experience of a player he is, that personally was a little bit interesting for me to see, like many others I know. And I would have rather them went with more of a, you know, younger player. And according to Wikipedia, he's actually only 19 years old, so, you know, a very young player.
Yeah, he's like top 10 in EU, I think, MMR-wise. So he's definitely very mechanically gifted and has good game sense and stuff like that. So yeah, it should be really cool to watch them play.
Yeah, and that's going to be happening after this series concludes, which, another pause here as we'd come out of it, apparently. Still fixing some said issues before we resume on. But yeah, this is game 2 of a 1-0 lead right now for Alliance that they're working with. And also to reiterate, again, our first of 4 best-of-3. So not only is it OG versus Vega next, but then the winner of these 2 series will then play each other in our first semifinal. And then after that, NIP versus Gambit in the second semifinal will be playing to finish up the day. So long day of Dota ahead, and some good Dota, though. Can't say I'm complaining there when it comes down to it.
As long as the games are close and like entertaining, I could pretty much watch Dota all the time. In fact, I do, even though I haven't like obviously casted much.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I always just like to have it on the second monitor, you know, whatever you're doing.
No, you're still grinding it. I see you stream every once in a while, check in, so I know that you've been doing that as well.
Watch me get mad at my team? Yeah, it happens.
No, never happens. What did we say the other day? It's that's one way to explain Dota is just, you know, positive and staying.
Yeah, positivity and something else. I can't remember that. That's how bad it is. I can't even remember the second part of the sentence.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. All right, into game number 2 once again. I will say Shadow Demon's having a fantastic time farming at that top lane. Not really surprising, though. Look at the CS. So bottom lane, Tusk, he's rolling in with Morphling, brings him with him. Taiga, he's going to respond with the Shackles, though, into that crush from Boxy. Again, not the longest stun anymore, but it does slow heavily. Zayak, first blood will come out for Alliance. He just simply could not get away. And Morphling as well as Coddle just not able to do enough to respond.
Yeah, well, we spoke about the save thing, right? Like, there's just not any way to stop the chain of initiation from Alliance. The way that NoPango want to play this is they want to keep the lanes pressured all the time, so that scenario cannot happen. And obviously, it's a bit harder in the early game because, you know, tier 1s are alive. There's not much wiggle room in terms of split pushing and stuff. As the game kind of goes on, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you'll start to see the Coddle, the Underlord maybe play different parts of the map and just be annoying. And make Alliance deal with those heroes individually so the cores can start to get some farm.
And speaking of that, Phantom Lancer 18-2 in that mid lane against a 16-15 Nature's Prophet, so he is a denying machine. You got to figure maybe some of those denies are on his own treant, so that, you know, to prevent Mickey from actually getting the last hits on them. But still, overall, last hitting very well and taking a bit away from Phantom Lancer, but still doing good himself. And yeah, across the board, the CS is not looking too dramatic on either side as far as one way or the other. But this trial in, it seems like Boxy is getting some comfortable room to farm now for the side of Alliance. And he's constantly up there hitting those last creeps and knife, poking in every now and then. But with the Rasta Rubick support, almost blanked there for a second, you got to be careful about getting caught, of course.
Yeah, the double. Well, actually, it's like quad stun, right? Because the Slardar has 2 stuns, the Rubick has a stun, and the Shadow. Actually, it's 5. Good God, that's a lot of stuns in one lane. So yeah, if you ever get out of position, the Tusk is the one who has to be super careful though, because you can stop the Shackle by snowballing in, stuff like that. The Ice Shards defensively can be a way to save. I'm not sure if he actually did skill tag team in this lane. I mean, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Okay, he actually hasn't skilled. He literally does not have a skill point distributed at level 3, just so you know. Okay, wait, that's a bug. Why can't I see his skill build? I can see it on the stream, but I can't see it in-game. Okay, that's really weird. Either way. Okay, here we go.
They're going to roll in from Tusks. And now Slayer, uh-oh, he went too far up. There's that response that we're talking about. I mean, just being aggressive right there. I mean, the 5-minute bounty runes are going to allow them to control it, I suppose. And Knive will go over and pick both up, but you're sacrificing your Keeper of the Light for it. Very interesting decision, really. Yeah, a little too aggressive there. Inside of NoPango.
Okay, this is super bizarre. I just can't see skills in game. I don't know what the heck is going on. I sometimes I like tab in to check items and stuff, but I literally cannot see skills in any hero. That's super weird.
Yeah,
okay,
maybe a restart or something.
Yeah, I mean, I can still see their items, and that's fine. That's good enough.
Okay, by the way, I want to clear as actually bottom lane. Naive is going to get caught here now himself. There's that bash proc coming in. He's not going to live. Maybe shift. Oh my god, he is going to live for the time being. Another bash happens though, and eventually it's just too much damage. Zach doing what he can to keep him alive. So, yeah, the pressure's on from Alliance. That's kind of expected, especially at this bottom lane, and what they could do with the lockdown. But yeah, one thing real quickly. ILTW is not officially on the team, I guess. I did really look back at it. People were pointing it out. He's actually standing in today. It is actually a stand-in. So,
okay.
There we go. Just to make that clear. Misread it there initially.
Ooh, another tag team getting here on bot. Tiger just explodes.
Yeah, it's a 4-man rotation though. Nature's Prophet even joining the party, so got the 1 kill. Well, Boxy's able to sprint on out. He's pretty fast even with level 1 sprint. Salar. Well, I'm gonna say hello to him, but I don't know if that's gonna necessarily work. Yeah, bash proc helps, but yeah, probably just want to keep on running.
Yeah, this PL is pulling ahead though. Anytime that the Nature's Prophet has to leave his lane, you know, it's a double-edged sword. You obviously have the instant reaction with your TP, but at the same time, you're always leaving the PL solo laning. And right now, Quakefa and Mickey are just, they're farming a freaking storm.
Mickey, 42 and 7 CS. I'm guessing we're going to see the early Diffusal blade on him. It's just naturally good on this hero, and again, against a hero like a Morphling. It's wouldn't be surprised to see anything else. Naive, there's the start of the combo. Shackle's coming in. That crush on top, gets a bash proc thrown in there, but this time he is going to be able to get away. Shifting over to that strength. But if anything...
That combo is going to be so much more deadly, too, once the Corrosive Haze comes out from the Slardar. Oof, that's a combo that I do not think any hero in Dota is capable of living through.
No, yeah, you shocked yourself as you just kept going on with the amount of crack control that they have in the bottom lane. It is plenty. How about that, though? Top lane. Koikfa goes down. That's a rotation from the Nature's Prophet. You even had Tusk coming in. That's, remember, a safe lane farming Shadow Demon that they just ganked right there, so a good one at that. As you take
this is a nice pace currently that NoPango are playing. They go for the gank, they go for the immediate tier 1. This is the kind of stuff that I thought we would see a bit more of in game 1, but I suppose this Prophet has the luxury of not being against a tri lane and also not sharing EXP with any support, so he's already level 7 in just 8 minutes. But just as far as matchups go, I don't think Shadow Demon is good at all against Nature's Prophet because your wave clear takes time, and you can just move the trees out of the way of the poison and stuff, right? So just as a matchup, I think that one is like super unfavored for Shadow Demon.
Yeah, that's fair, exactly. Microwin, the poison's not the easiest, or not the hardest to dodge necessarily, especially when you see they cast it up there, so I'm sure we'll see him moving it out plenty as bottom lane, Boxy's almost sort of bait here, you can tell. Taiga's in there with the Infist, but Boxy might be biting off a little bit more than he can chew here. Although Naive, maybe not. Now he's trying to run away, and obviously the Infist roster comes in. Dear God, that bash hit. Yeah, you see the agility shift. There you go. That caught him off guard.
Yeah, level 3 bash freaking hurts, man. Jesus. That with the Ether Shock as well. You got to respect that damage.
Great patience there from Rasta, but hey, saw about a minute ago the odds coming up, and again, very even. Obviously, with the start so far, you can head over to es.bet and play some wages yourself if you like said odds. Take advantage of the insurance currently going on for the tournament as well. But take a look back at the top lane. Again, Shadow Demon just back to farming, so they killed him earlier, but it's similar to last game really, where all 3 cores for Alliance are farming very well in the laning phase. The only, I guess, big difference is that Nature's Prophet is leading the way right now for NoPango.
Yeah, he's been involved in a lot of the action too. It's one of the benefits of having such a mobile mid player is he's always going to be at the fight if he needs to. And he's also, like, Nature's Prophet is really interesting because he's always been that hero that can just buy, you know, whatever the heck items you need for the team. And since he's the one who's getting the Vlads, like this early push coming in from NoPango and just their sheer amount of wave clear and split push potential, it is a lot to handle. And you're going to be needing like Blink on Slardar, Blink on 2 other heroes like the Shadow Shaman, the Rubick one as well. Until that happens, I feel like NoPango can just play as fast as they want. We're gonna miss a kill on the map here. Looks like Instania kills.
Instania got killed there from.
Oh, he got killed. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
they just collapsed on the middle lane, but the bounty rune spawning a 10-minute mark in Coddle. He's gonna end up going down, picking up his. Boxy though, can he get away? The tag team is up. Probably not. Mickey joins the party though. Tusk snowball up, trying to make his own getaway. Ghost Stick doing what he can. Just auto attacking the ice shards on the wrong side. That happens sometimes.
That's also an oof, in case anyone was wondering. It was a nice try, though. It's really hard because The old ice shards were a lot easier to position, but the new ones, it's like the back of the shard is where the cursor is. So it's like really finicky with where you position it.
Mickey pushes to the top lane after that, and he's just going to take over farm up there. So again, the Diffusal Blade is going to be coming online sooner than later. You'd figure, but he has that free farm up top now. And he has taken over as top CS in the game. Nature's Prophet, I know this item's very popular right now. Vlad's is going to be his priority, though, as far as the NP goes. And does that really make the most sense to you this game, though, as far as, again, they're kind of protecting this Morphling?
Oh, yeah. Vlad's is phenomenal. If there's not an item that you just say... So the way I see Vlad's right now is that if you're a hero who gets farm, and there's nothing that you can immediately say, I need this item for this game, then you buy Vlad's. That's it. That's why like heroes like Beastmaster, for example, buy it, because there's nothing besides like Book that you would want. As we're going to see another kill on the Rubick. Well, maybe not see it, but we see it on the feet. Yeah, but it's great for the 5-man. Like look at how strong they are with this Vlad's, and they got the double set of Treant spawns. Gothic is here. They got the Coddle blasting the wave. Like good God, man, this is terrifying.
That's Tier 2 tower heavily pressured. Rubick is back in. Just going to put up the Fade Bolt, and they will be able to protect it. That's because at the top lane, apparently, the Radiant team deciding, all right, this is going to be the strategy. They push mid Tier 1. They come top. They're going to push Tier 1 top. In fact, try to get a kill on Phantom Lancer as well. Doppelganger 2 more seconds. He's not going to be saved. He goes down. Well played again by NoPango. As soon as that Vlad's been picked up, they really are turning it on. You're right, Draskyl. Now Taiga is also going to get caught out. The Will-O-Wisp initially affecting him. Double kill for Salar as they pick off Koikva 2 on the Shadow Demon, and that's an easy Tier 1 tower push top now. On top of everything else, NoPango. Momentum at its finest.
The biggest concern for me is like the Shadow Demon core. This is not a hero that really comes online, in my opinion, because there's no singular item that really scales you to a point where you start to feel scary. So I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, you 10th picked a Shadow Demon, and the impact of the hero so far has basically just been sitting in a lane and hitting creeps. So as crazy it is to say, I think that Alliance might just be experimenting a bit with the hero, and it's backfiring super hard because I don't really see what it's going to do in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a huge Shadow Demon fan, but absolutely agree. It just didn't feel like an obvious Shadow Demon game for that niche pick, and it kind of goes back to my point, too. I know there's still plenty of game left, but when you do a pick like this, especially in that final spot, and you do something a little funky, it better work out, because when it doesn't, then people are just really like, you know, WTF, you know, what were you thinking when it came to the draft? So either way, again, there's still plenty of game left, only 13 minutes in, and Slaughter, he's been having some okay success, I suppose. I'm now looking at the net worth. He's one of the worst cores as far as farm goes, but he's keeping up. He's working on a Shadow Blade. Double brace early on. Let's take on that. Shadow Blade over the Blink Dagger.
So the way that I see this game going is that if it stretches on and NoPango aren't able to get Tier 3s, what will happen is that a lot of the heroes in the set of NoPango will probably be spread out. Like Coddle and Underlord kind of don't want to be next to each other unless they're hitting a building. So if you know that there's going to be a lot of sideline play, your two options are Blink and Shadow Blade, because those are the items that you use to get in. But if you want to scale and you want to be able to bypass ward vision, you want a Shadow Blade. And that also allows you to solo kill with Slardar, because you get like a stun into a bash. So you get your 3 charges on your bash, and then you go invis, you find the hero, you stun, you amp him or whatever, and then you just kill him, right? And that kills probably, let's see, 3 of the heroes on NoPango pretty easily, I would say. So I like the Shadow Blade choice. I think it's very smart. But it also depends on how much pressure that NoPango are going to keep applying. Because if they keep walking these towers as 5, and they can threaten high ground, Shadow Blade will not do any good.
Yeah.
This is basically saying he thinks the game is going to go longer and that they can defend their towers.
Top lane, speaking of that pressure, they're trying to apply it up here. Tiger gets caught. The sentry was put down. He was coming in with the invis, but he just simply ran into the sentry. That was just well played by NoPango. They have the heads up, and now you see Koikva blocked by the shards, just going to put a disruption up and hope for the best, and the best is just going to be living another couple seconds before eventually gets taken out. So, you know, you saw NoPango kind of reset things there for a couple of minutes after those tower pushes, but here's the reset. Now they're pushing again. They get a couple of hero kills. And yeah, so going back to set item of the Shadow Blade for Slaughter, and it seems like that NoPango wants to clearly keep the pressure up and keep it going. And I wonder if they're just going to keep going here at the top lane even.
It's possible. I mean, this is, they do have wards though. They got to be careful not to overextend here.
Rubick gets comboed. His own Firestorm is not going to really matter. He goes down as well. There's the Dark Rift. Gonna send themselves away. Nothing they can do about it, I don't think. Yeah,
Ooh,
just,
close.
oh, Kotl was close to death, yeah. But cannot stop it. And they just port to the bottom lane even, so. Again, the pressure from NoPango. A lot of it. Now, it's only resulting in about a 2,000 net worth lead. Nearly 16 minutes in, so a lead, but not running away. Phantom Lancer will continue to be a scary threat himself, and I assume the defusal is finished by now even on him. Oh, look
Yeah,
at that.
it should be. It should be. Okay, he goes back for the blink. All right, he's concerned that NoPango have the potential to hit tier 3s, and that's too much for him. He doesn't want to go an item that's going to be more expensive. He wants to have his impact now.
There you go. Understandably so, as that bottom tier 2 now being pressured after the tier 1 tower kill. Morphling, really Dragonlance, by the way, from Morphling, and he picks up a double damage rune. An assist right here as Roshan gets picked off. Zayak battling with Boxy. Boxy running naive. He morphs into the slaughter as the Will-O-Wisp blocking down a couple heroes to the right. And Standing are going to lift, but he'll probably be the victim. Shadow Demon was able to force staff over the Les, but Naive comes over with the double damage rune and ends up picking up a triple kill here in that fight, and that's going to be an EC tier 2 bottom. Yeah, this just is not stopping right now from NoPango. Now we're starting to see a lead that is very respectable, and it is going to be hard to come back from for Alliance.
The issue is that they're being allowed to get together as 5 heroes and walk to buildings. Like, usually when you have a game like this, one of two things happens. You either decide to avoid the death ball, which I think is probably advisable in this situation for Alliance, because every time they meet NoPango in a fight, they just get crushed. Like, there's a Crimson Guard on Gothic. You got this huge AoE burst damage. There's not really, I think, much of a way for Alliance to take a 5 versus 5 team fight. They just don't have the heroes. So if I were them, I would be more focused on, like, pushing lanes, maybe even going as far as cutting, trying to, like, bait small skirmishes while you know that as soon as they go back, that's your best time. When they're going for the reset period in NoPango where the push is over and they're TPing back to their side of the map, that's when you need to be aggressive. But the hard part is, like BSJ was saying during the draft, they don't have enough wave clear. So these waves are like hitting their towers when NoPango goes back, and they have a chance to reform because the creeps need to be deep pushed. It's like, it's really tough for Alliance in the situation to go for the play they want, which is just, let's fight, but let's not 5v5.
Well, they're also going to start having to think about defending Roshan because you see NoPango's making their way over. That's something that I was going to bring up too. And for NoPango, they've already got 5 tower kills. Seems like Roshan is naturally the next place to head. They have a decent Roshan killing team, and they are going to do it. And there's nothing Alliance is going to be able to do to stop it. You see, they're nowhere nearby, so whether or not
they
know.
warded the bot tier 1, so that's what their choice is. They don't want to try to take the whole 5-man death ball thing. We've already seen how that goes.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No.
This is a really, really scary point for Alliance, because if they mess up and they don't have buybacks and some key heroes here, that's just racks, for sure.
Well, there's no way they're defending the tier 2. It's at this point you defend high ground and that's it if you're Alliance, but it seems like that they're going to have to get back here because I don't think NoPango is going to be stopping after that tower kill, as they're still nearby again. If anything, they have that Dark Rift getaway if it calls for. But Orchids even finish on Nature's Prophet as they push in. Boxy has got initially waveform forward to the right. Snowball. It does connect, and the Walrus Punch will finish the job. Again, the Will-O-Wisp going to zone them away. Taiga, he cannot run away. Slaughter buys back. Rasta staying dead for the time being. Pushing bottom lane is Phantom Lancer. Seems like Mickey is still not content on coming back just yet. He's still farming down there. So, again, they understand they can't really fight into them. They're just trying to minimize the damage as much as possible. Which is still going to be melee racks.
Play. If he TP's back right now, it's so bad. Like, he can't TP unless a fight kicks off that they can win.
Oh, Boxy, that's going to be a dieback, by the way. Disruption comes out, though. Trying to save him, but it will not be enough. He's out for a full minute, so Mickey does come in finally. Just again, very late. Knife, though, he's being person down to the Phantom Lances that we're talking about, so he has a Diffusal Blade. It is kicking in. Knife going to be sheeped up as well. Can he finish the job? It doesn't look like it. Dark Rift activated, and now Knife manning up inside of that Dark Rift. Mickey wants to kill him. It's not going to happen, though. Mickey had Half-Life himself, but he is fine as a Dark Rift out. So, yeah, you see with PL, once he's there, with the Diffusal Yasha, he is a threat.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go for, like, some backstep. So sometimes when you're playing against these heroes that sit really far away like Kotl, you can TP to the shrine and like walk behind them, and that way you can like get on the squishy heroes instead of having to go on the front line like the Morph with an Aegis or the Underlord, where you obviously don't want to hit at all. But he TPs to the racks, gets them to go back at least. It's only 1 melee, definitely not the end of the game by any stretch, but the lead is looking very, very strong for NoPango. There needs to be some kind of action taken by Alliance, though. They can't just reset to neutral, because when that happens, it gives Pango time to just regroup as 5, and we've already, you know, again and again, it's the same. It's like if they're as 5, they have this Aegis on the Morphling, a Crimson Guard for the team fight and stuff. Your damage it's not enough.
Top lane,
Oh,
Shadow Demon trying to get a kill on Sailor, and it looks like they are. So I was just going to bring that up too. Shadow Demon, again, we still really have not seen any kind of impact at all out of this core Shadow Demon. That's the first time right there. It's like, okay, sets up a kill now. And as a support, I technically could have done the same thing, but that's another story. He has a blink as well as a Force Staff, though, so those items, obviously, you wouldn't have as a support, so that's where, you know, maybe that catch does happen because of it in that case.
Yeah, I think this is an experimental pick. Like, it's the only thing I can think of, because no matter how many different ways I try to justify it, I think it's just a bad hero in this game. Like, even if it was a support, I would say, yeah, this is a crappy Shadow Demon game. So when you think it's bad as a support, then it has to be bad as a core, because you're looking at the basic abilities and going, okay, the only guy that you're picking this for, I can conceivably think of is Morphling. That's it, because you disrupt the morph. The Morphling illusions are really strong. It's kind of scary, you know, whatever. That's it.
Top lane. Going up here quickly, boxing, Pit of Malice, locking him down initially. You just see the right clicks of Sailor, so much damage from the Nature's Prophet with that recent Orchid finish. So they get the free pick onto him, and down a little south, Rasta, I believe it looks like he did TP out, so unable to catch him.
Underlord, he's got Greaves, and he's got his Crimson Guard. This is just... It's going to be so hard to stop this. And there's another double damage. Good God, man.
Why not?
How many double damage runes this Morphling got in this series? Like 5?
It feels like plenty, and it's one of those you really notice it when he does pick it up. So maybe seems like more, but yeah, that was a little awkward there. By the way, Underlord, he used his Dark Rift as if they were going to go somewhere, but the team was on a different page, so he ends up canceling it. It's going to be on cooldown for another 100 seconds or so, and if they choose to push here very shortly, you know, without that could be something that comes into play. But by the time they do push at this rate, it should be back up.
Yeah, I don't think it'll bother them too much. They're doing a nice little wave cut thing here. The one thing to keep an eye on though for Alliance is Mickey's Manta Style. If he has it and he has Diffusal, this hero can definitely pose some real big problems, because even if he can't kill the Morph or the Underlord directly, if he burns all their mana, the heroes are still useless. Like, Underlord with no mana just does nothing, and the Morphling with no mana can't get himself out of danger, so there is opening up opportunities to kill in that sense. So in some ways, I still think NoPango are under the gun in regards to what they want to do. One melee Rax is not enough to steal the game. Not even close. They are going to find Boxy here, though.
Boxy, that's been a theme this game for him as... Okay, he's going to take down the Orchid. Does him in right there. But yeah, for going back to yesterday, again, you talked about even with one Rax not over, I mean, hell, we just saw Mega Creeps come back yesterday in one of our series. So anything can definitely happen. Do not count them out by any means. But Alliance, obviously an uphill battle of sorts. Talk about the PL, though. Pressure that he's going to be able to bring.
Is doing some real good stuff right now. You want to learn how to play a core? This is stuff that you have to do. You need to cut waves, especially in this meta, because if you don't, and you allow that wave to walk to the base, you can't spark the backdoor protection, and then the game will just be over for your team. So the fact that he can play so aggressively and be on that side of the map, prevent the wave from getting even across the river, that's like a best case scenario for Alliance.
Wow, you see right there. According to those odds, they're actually favoring Alliance right now, even despite being down 9,000 net worth. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's just because of the core matchup, I'm sure. Like, a lot of these betting things have algorithms where they take like the win rates of heroes against other heroes into account and stuff. At least that's what I would assume.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, it kind of makes sense, at least from the betting regard. But there is still a good opportunity for NoPango to just take another lane if Alliance mess up.
Again, if you like those odds, head over to es.bet and you can place wager onset odds. Take advantage of the insurance currently in play as well here for the WePlay Winter Masters Tournament. So again, es.bet. Again, Keeper of the Light saw a very early Ghost Scepter on him. That's what he prioritized as far as his first pickup here. And I suppose against a Phantom Lancer specifically, that's a good item to have. That's a support. Don't want to give him a free kill.
Yeah, it's actually super annoying for PL because the supports that can just go, like the Ghost Scepter and the Glimmer and stuff, I mean, obviously you could buy Dust if they went Glimmer, but there's no counter to Ghost anymore because it's been a long time since Diffusal actually was a dispel item. So now you need like a nullifier to guarantee that you can kill that coddle, and it's not really worth the investment, right? You'd rather buy like a Scotty or a Butterfly or maybe even a BKB, I guess.
Yeah.
In this game.
You've seen the Heart, a very popular build on PLs too. So yeah, just that really big item in the late game. Again, he had the Manta style on that. I mean, is there any of those that really stand out more than the others for PL?
I think if he felt like he had to fight right now, he'd probably go BKB. But if he's not going to fight right now, I think Heart's probably still a solid choice.
I think I saw him building a Heart, actually. So.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Heart makes sense because it allows you to get in and out. PL can play fights like however he wants because Doppelganger is an escapability. There's a lot of confusion in the fights because of just the mass amount of like juxtaposed illusions that you spawn. So you can abuse that and just get so much regen and go back in and go out. It's kind of like Slark, but a little bit more chaotic. Looks like Zayak's going to find Insania. You know, I'm glad that we never see this guy die because he's dying so much that I feel bad. Yeah. I want him to stop. I want him to be alive.
He's staying at this time too. He's out for 30 seconds, and that could be important because they're pushing into the base. They decide to go bottom lane as the group A pushing mid. The FPL is cutting that bottom wave though, and or pushing it in more so. So this this push is, they might get the tier 3 at this rate. I mean, Alliance is showing that they don't mind fighting. Phantom Lancer is back, so they lose the tower, but I'm going to say I think NoPango is going to retreat here now. You see Ghost Stick, he's running in with a Dark Red. That's a little sketchy right there. Yeah, he's kind of going forward where the rest of the team wanted to run away. But ultimately Slayer even gets out as well with the Ghost Scepter, so everyone escapes for NoPango.
That was a little bit of a mismanagement of lanes there from Alliance. They needed to kill the mid wave faster. So backdoor, when it gets disabled, it's down for like a good amount of time. So you need to make sure that the backdoor never breaks in the first place in situations like that. You need someone mid, like Shadow Shaman or whatever. The PL, I guess he TP'd a tiny bit late, and it ends up costing them the tier 3. But that's how fickle the game is right now, right? You mess up, one support dies, you forget to push one wave, and then your tower is under siege. If that happens again, it could be racks, right? That's the part for Alliance that's like really terrifying.
Couple of very worthy item progressions here is, if Scotty was finished on a Morphling, and now he's actually working on a Diffusal Blade is what he had queued up next. And I believe I saw the BKB finished on Nature's Prophet, which a little bit to the right, it looks like Rasta is caught. Ghost Stick wants to finish it, but with the Pit of Malice already being used, cannot chase further. Slaughter in the back lines, he runs in naive, and that's not a target he wants to find there. He gets bursted down, Sailor credit for the kill even. Buyback is ready on Slaughter, but he's out for 40 seconds. It might come into play, though, because they are still pushing. And Stania gets caught by the Will-O-Wisp, so he's going to be the sacrificial lamb now for the team. And again, just like before, he doesn't have a buyback, so no matter what, it's going to be 4 versus 5 at best for Alliance.
Well, the one bright side is that they have another tower, because of the way that NoPango is sieging, like, they're continually walking to lanes with tier 3s. At some point, all their tier 3s are going to be dead, and that's going to be bad. But fortunately, the way that the heroes got picked off, the easiest transition to a push was a lane where a tier 3 existed, and that's a good thing for Alliance. If it was just them hitting naked, oh my god, there's another double damage. So that could have actually been really bad. If it was a naked set of racks, I think that NoPango probably just fully commit for that. Maybe try to go for the second set, and I think the second set of racks might just be too much for Alliance at this point.
They're being patient. 10 more seconds, Roshan's up. If they're patient enough with that double damage rune,
they can wait another 56 seconds. Yeah, that's how long they can wait. Because the rune won't leave until the next 2-minute rolls around, and then it'll change.
Well,
it will be up in time.
I was going to say, we saw Alliance was just about there, though. So Alliance is prepared to protect Roshan. For all they know, it's already happening, but again, as we can see, it's not. So they will have time to defend. It's
yeah, but if they come contest, Naiv's going to pick up the DD, and it's going to be really tough. Yeah. Like that's a fight. I'm not sure. Well, maybe this is a chance for Alliance because with the PL having the Manta and the Diffusal, almost a heart, I would imagine at this point. Maybe he's setting for buyback. I'm not sure. But if he has those items, there is actually an opportunity because if you're fighting in a chaotic place like the Roshan pit. Sure, things like Will-O-Wisp and Underlord spells are going to be better, but at the same time, it's probably also your best shot.
Okay. He gets hit by the Pit of Malice initially, so yeah, double damage picked up. You see Navi's morphed into the Phantom Lancer himself. And is going to go, sure enough, into the Roshan pit.
Oh, it's dying so fast. Jesus, okay. This is going to die too fast, I think, for Alliance.
Pit of Malice is a good protection as well. They have Will-O-Wisp on top of that. No, they don't actually. It's on cooldown still. But yeah, it just dies way too fast. I think that throws the Lions off guard even too. They maybe figured they had a little more time, but they did not. Aegis picked up by Morphling, and now the run is on. Slardar for Staff. The Tusk Snowball eventually connects, but now Tusk is out of range of his teammates. So Zayak is going to be turned here as a response. So 1-0 favoring Alliance, and Dark Rift out from Ghostic. Mickey's just in the back lines causing chaos. The Dark Rift will get others out, but they left Morphling.
Yeah.
Oh no. NoPango, what is happening?
That's a tough one. I mean, he has buyback. Like Zayak and Naive are both likely going to have to buy out for this, but this is a huge mistake.
He must have got crowd controlled or something right there, because there's obviously that decision. That's the #1 priority that you send out if you're Underlord.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if it was the fact that he got stunned or the fact that, you know, the Underlord didn't see where he was. There's a bunch of things. It could even have just been a miscommunication. Like, maybe Naive wanted to fight because he had a DD and an Aegis. Maybe the rest of the team's like, no, let's just play it safe. I don't know. It could have been like 100 different things.
Yeah. Alliance going in now. The stun. Ghostic, he gets caught here just right his tower, and he's a tank. He's showing that right there. Guardian Creep's even kicking in, so he will be fine for the time being. But with those illusions, it's going to be too much pressure in the end. It seems like Pit of Malice, you have the Will-O-Wisp used as well. They're doing what they can to hold them. Morphling still has 10 more seconds before he's back up. He's a Slayer. That Ghost Scepter will keep him alive at the last second. He's sitting in the illusions trying to finish the job. Either way, he's going to go for the Rax kill. Fortification kicks in, but Morphling is back up now. Buyback ready on Underlord. And I think NoPango definitely going to try to defend this. You do see split push at the bottom lane for Nature's Prophet, though. Slaughter is down there to protect. Dark Rift out from Insania, by the way, on the Rubick. He did steal the Dark Rift, and that comes into play right there.
I think he maybe did it like a second or two early. It's hard to judge, obviously, when you're in situations like that. In the meantime, the Nature's Prophet did end up taking the rain tracks in the bot lane, so it's not like NoPango took that one just on the chin. Really big mistake, though, giving up the Aegis like that. That's a second game in a row where Alliance basically just completely stopped NoPango from doing something useful with the Aegis. The first game, they obviously pressured him so much, got 2 pickoffs that they had to stay in the base. This time around, they straight up just killed the Morphling because of either a miscommunication or whatever. But an opening for Alliance nonetheless.
Absolutely. A big opening. And I'm also noticing Shadow Demon, so you see what he's getting here. The Axe is queued up. He actually has enough gold to purchase it. Interesting item on him because of not only the charges, but the break effect that it now applies. I'm kind of looking, though, on the other side. And
it doesn't really, the break doesn't really do much this game because I'm pretty sure it doesn't disable auras. It just disables passives. And I'm not sure if aura is a passive. It's some like weird thing. I'm pretty sure auras still work, though. Maybe BSJ knows the answer after the game, but it's one where his ultimate is still really strong, so the utility of having 3 charges is great, and it does a lot of damage. Like later on when he gets a, let me actually check what level it is, because I can't remember if it's 20 or 25, but he gets a talent
25.
that, yeah, it's 500 extra damage on the purge, so each purge does 900 damage.
Yeah, it's a lot. Mickey got
it's a good amount of damage. That's
a big pick. Phantom Lancer goes down. We just caught it the last second, but they found him. They were able to catch him. That Pit of Malice you mentioned earlier is from the very beginning. It's no doubt going to be something that he's having trouble to deal with, and he's going to have to buy back here because there's racks. You don't just give these up freely. So there's a buyback for Mickey. Taiga blocking out Naive. He's at half life. There's a Dark Rift. The Snowball save as well to guarantee the get him. Did it go too far? Oh, that was close. Snowballing out. That would have been unfortunate, but he does get out. They saved the melee racks. See the top lane. Nature's Prophet was pushing that as well, but I don't think he got really much out of it. Just response. So they got a buyback. That's what really happened there for NoPango on the Phantom.
Well, I mean, they're getting chip damage on the tier 3 as well. You have to remember that once all the racks are exposed, this becomes a dream game for Nature's Prophet. And we already spoke at length about just the insane amount of wave clear that they currently possess. Being able to push these waves in all the time, always having a lane at Alliance's base. It's almost like Alliance are getting Alliance, you know, like the old school, I'm going to play split push Dota all the time and be hitting towers and stuff while you're trying to take team fights. It is a really big issue because the range racks is being dead is still going to mean that these lanes are being pushed in even harder. One range creep doesn't sound like it's going to make that big of a difference, but they do stack up. And I actually think even at this point, it's going to be an issue.
Net worth fleet has been in a similar spot, about 11,000. Salar, he continues to do what Nature's Prophets do, and got the Maelstrom now to work with as well. He's going to teleport to the top lane and start pushing that in. So he is keeping that pressure up on Alliance. And yeah, we saw earlier even when they were pushing the base themselves, all of a sudden they lose a range Drax bottom lane. So unless they really win a fight, they're going to have to be careful always for that. Next, Roshan, as probably have about 3 minutes or so before the next one could spawn. So I got that window now as far as the possibility coming up. What's going on top lane? Taiga, he's waiting, seeing if Nature's Prophet gets extra greedy, but doesn't look like it. In fact, Nature's Prophet going to go back to the bottom lane. Good job avoiding right there. And now he's going to push that in. So yeah, this NP is playing very well right now. That's they're engaging. 35-minute bounty run that they wanted. Taiga goes down off the bat, but box, he stuns in. Slayer gets heavily bursted. He'll end up falling. Remember, they do not have Nature's Prophet right now. It looks like Rubick's down there with him as well. Rasta buys back for this. Boxing, another stun. But he has to run, although he can't run too far with the Ice Shards. BKB activated from Naive. He turns around and goes after the Slaughter now as Nature's Prophet TP's in. So no doubt, NoPango in the advantage here. Mickey, got to be careful. Doppelganger still on cooldown. He has the heart, so he is tanky. But, the Dark Rift out. Okay, they're going to Disruption. And the Dark Rift's canceled. They realize that they're winning this fight right now. So you have Phantom Lancer. Ultimately, where the hell is the real one? There he is. Mickey's to the south. And now he's manning up against Ghostic. It's like they're trying to find the real one this whole time. Another Doppelganger. Blinding Light push up on the hill. What a Blinding Light right there. Pushes them back in. However, Sailor is getting low now. The BKB is going to be activated. Mickey on top of it. Nice Sprout will protect him for the time being. Koikfa getting caught by the Pit of Mouse. Running away, though. You see Naive morphing into that Phantom Lancer again. And chasing further. So with so many PLs this game, hard to keep up sometimes. But Insania will probably be a victim in the end, as they finally do retreat on the Alliance side. So he got close for Mickey. He ends up surviving, though, but they do lose 3 heroes in total throughout that fight.
Yeah, they need to get the waves away from the base. Like, mid needs to be deep pushed, like, immediately. There's still some time because I think there's, like, a cart or something in the top lane. But, yeah, because the wave in mid is too close and bot was already pushed in there, there's no backdoor. This is looking pretty rough right now for Alliance. No buyback on the Shadow Shaman for 10.
Quick bump. He's trying to distract, and, well, he distracted. He buys back immediately, as did Rubick, so 5 more seconds for Rasta until he's up. Mickey in pursuit now, going after Salar. Crimson Guard helping, Pin and Mouse. No Dark Rift for Underlord. Nature's Prophet able to TP out, though that Sprout protection doing work. And he gets out once again. The fact that NoPango's just able to fully retreat, even without a Dark Rift, tells you something. How much control they have right now.
I mean, they're keeping the racks alive, and that's something. It's just the issue of, like, there's never really been that one key fight for Alliance the entire game. There's never been a point where they get enough kills to really take something in return. And again, it's the Nature's Prophet, it's the Coddle and the Underlord being able to kill the waves. It's just this reoccurring theme of Alliance are playing with not a lot of time. Like, you have to make the moves immediately because you can see top, again, like Sailor was up there, the wave is in the base. Mid is on their side of the river. Bot is the only lane that is currently pushed slightly in their favor, and it's just barely past, the river. So this has been the story since like minute 8. All the lanes are always needing to be addressed all the time, and they just can't seem to get a foothold anywhere.
Now, this is probably to the benefit of Alliance, too, that Roshan is a very long respawn. It's got to be near the max time that is allowed for him, so because that's going slowly over there. So Coddle's sitting in the Roshan pit, but he's going to be sitting there a while if he expects to stay there until the actual spawn. There's a double damage rune at the bottom rune spot, by the way. You saw just spawn right there, so we'll see if they pick up on that or not. But nobody has vision of that area right now, and Mickey is the only one down there. That would be something if he's able to take that at least.
Yeah, I think if you're Mickey in this game, you have to just go ham. Like, you have to push way further than you feel comfortable, because your hero is still pretty good in terms of escaping ganks and stuff, because I don't believe they have a Hex enemy one. I think the Nature's Prophet just has like Orchid or whatever, and you have Mantis, and that's fine. But you need to start like taking risks and leaving the deep pushing to the other heroes. I mean, I know it sounds tough, but in these types of games where there's so much wave pressure being thrown at you, the only way to kind of jar that is either to take a fight and win, or to go for some risky play.
Up here, Nature's Prophet, he pops a BKB for this, realizing that they were after him. However, Zayak goes in. The Will-O-Wisp destroys all the trees and also gets the crowd control up. Shadow Demon's dead with no buyback, by the way. That's 110 seconds he is out for, so an absolutely big kill. Nature's Prophet just TP's back in. Yeah, that chase from Alliance, hindsight, it definitely wasn't worth it, guys. That's 60 seconds for Slaughter as well. No buyback. This could be a final push even. Yeah,
this is looking pretty grim. Pretty grim for the Alliance boys here. I mean, they put up a pretty good fight considering their 10th pick, I believe, was not optimal. So they're going to jump onto Mickey here.
Mickey. Doppelganger 3 more seconds. Zona gets ground. You see that burst damage. He finally gets the Doppelganger off, but now he has to run. Get that heart regen. Morphly's not going to let him. He's out, and that should be it. Yeah, no buyback. That's it, and we're going game 3 as a result. So Alliance kept hope a little bit there, the farm of Phantom Lantern and everything, but you know, not to put it all on the Shadow Demon, but it really...
I mean, it was a lot on the Shadow Demon.
It was, and it's very fair. Again, I go back to the draft. As you make a pick like that, it's a bold decision. It's one of those where I would love to talk with Insania and be like, what was the ultimate logic there? Because it really just did not do enough, or frankly, a lot in the end.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it and you say, you know, a spade's a spade. It was a pick that you tried out. It didn't work. It's fine. You know, go to the next game. I do think that NoPango played it exceptionally, though. They always grouped up for the tier 1s, tier 2s. They knew when they were strong. You know, Sailor played great even when they were taking fights. He knew that his team was, like, strong enough where he could just be somewhere else. Like when they were pushing down mid, he was pressuring bot racks and etc. They seemed to have a pretty good understanding of what their lineup wanted to do, and they executed.
Yeah, definitely credit to NoPango, absolutely. Not to take anything away from them. Nature's Prophet Sailor was fantastic. 14, 1, and 12. Great stat line there, but just throughout the game, you could just, again, tell from the split push to the damage he was doing in those fights. Great play all around, and they deserve a Game 3 after that performance, absolutely. So we do have it. Again, we expected going into this it was going to be a close one, and sure enough, we're getting it. Game number 3 of our first of 4, best of 3s for today. So starting off strong, we'll see which team moves on to the semifinals and which team will be eliminated here in the WePlay Winter Madness Tournament. The $100,000 prize on the line. Breaky CPK joined by Draskyl. Once again, we'll be bringing back BSJ here shortly after the break. Game number 3 coming up next.